Anita, how's your mental health?
Questionable at all times. You know this.
Yeah, how's the mental health of your children?
Also a little bit tricky. Can I tell you my experience in trying to find therapists for myself and my kids, Mel?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is how it goes. You ask around your friends and your family for a referral for somebody who's nearby. You finally find somebody who sounds like they might work for your family. You give them a call and you find out that A, they're not accepting new patients, or B, they have a huge wait list. So you start over again and you ask people if they know anybody who would be a good therapist and a good fit. Finally, you find one, you go and you meet with them and you figure out that you don't actually like them that much. But it's been so much work to find somebody who you can go to in your area that you're kind of stuck with them. Well, do you have any ideas for how to get around this?
I do because guess what? I've actually had some therapists that I have found on my own, which involves what you're saying. Sometimes I remember one time I was like 3 hours in the bathtub on my phone looking
Yeah.
through websites. I was such a prune at the end. But I have also had the experience with working with BetterHelp. And it was like, I don't want to say too good to be true, but because it is true, but it's like amazing because I was matched with my therapist within 24 hours.
And you didn't have to go through all of that other ridiculous process of trying to find somebody. And here's the cool thing too, is if that person didn't work out for you, you can just switch and say, and it's not like you're committing to another years long search for somebody who you're going to jive with.
It's true. And I lucked out, or maybe just BetterHelp is really good at matching people together because I never had to change my therapist. I loved her. Perfect fit for me. And I know that some of our friends have used BetterHelp and they've had to change therapists, and boom, same day, you can change.
Easy peasy.
You can ghost your therapist. Get a new one.
I love this idea. BetterHelp is one of our sponsors. If you use our promo code trybetterhelp.com/WWDN, you get 10% off your first month. And we totally recommend it.
Yes, get some therapy. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN. What did you just do, Anita?
I achieved my dreams.
What are those?
My kids went to school today. All of them went to school today. And I left as soon as they left and went for a bike ride. And I rode until they got home. I didn't get home till they got home. It was
How
my
many
dream.
hours was that? 7?
Well, no. It was like, how long was it? I was probably riding my bike for 4 hours, but I had to drive to the trailhead and back. So
Still many hours.
many hours. I know. This
How
was
do
the
you
best day
feel?
ever. I'm tired, but that's okay. I'm
Yeah.
excited to discuss what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, everybody, this episode is entitled The Good, the Bad, and the Funny. Because let's be honest, sometimes we need some laughs. We talk a
Yes.
lot about serious crap.
But first, Mel, welcome back home.
Thank you. Could you tell where I was from the song that I put in?
Yes, it made me laugh so hard. And thank you for actually coming back because I was like, maybe Mel will just leave and never come back. So I'm happy that you came back.
Thank you. Admittedly, I did book that trip a few months ago after I returned from the other trip that we had over there, and I re-entered my situation that gave me some traumatizing experiences. So I kind of panic booked for a few months later a trip because it's been a rough summer.
Are you sad that you're home?
Yes, the answer is yes.
No equivocations, just yes.
Well, I do love my dogs, so
Yeah.
that part I was like, I need them. But I don't know.
All the other stuff, not so much.
There's a lot going on. Yeah,
There is a lot going on. Can we talk about two things?
sure.
What about the hurricane that happened in California?
Yeah, is everybody okay?
Yes. Are you guys fine? Is the rain, did it wash you away? All you Californians.
Yeah, and also, I mean, earthquakes, yeah, we hear about them in California, but this hurricane situation, like what?
And together, I
Yeah.
feel like the earthquake by itself, they'd be like, whatever, that's a Tuesday afternoon or whatever. Wasn't, but yeah. So hopefully you guys are faring well. And then also the fire in Maui. Like, what in the world.
Do you think this means the killer bees are coming back?
No, it's going to be toads.
That'll be fun. Your boys would be occupied forever.
My house would be full of toads, and I don't want to think about that. So, love to everybody out there and everybody who's experiencing additional stress and trauma because of the weird, wacky weather phenomenons and all of that crazy stuff.
You know
Ugh.
what? Remember a couple episodes ago where part of our discussion was, is the whole entire world not okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are a couple of podcasts that I listen to that are non-grief related, and
Yeah.
they talked about the same thing the same week.
So you're onto something.
Yeah, I just think the whole world is not well
Well,
in
and
any
it
way.
can't be getting any better when we have stuff like this happen too. It's like, how are we supposed to be okay? I don't know.
Maybe we're not. Maybe that's,
The point.
yeah, maybe we just should just lose our minds.
And it can be like a horror movie, like The Purge, or I don't know. I don't watch horror movies, but like we'll turn into the zombie apocalypse at some point,
Sounds
and then it
fine
will
to
all
me.
be over.
I just want to say I'm not volunteering for restarting the human population after the apocalypse.
Okay. Yes. Can we just talk about that for a quick second?
Please.
We live in a state with preppers, okay? My parents are low-key preppers. They have a lot of food saved up for the apocalypse. And if the zombies come, I'm going to walk outside and find the zombies, right? I'm not trying to stay alive in the apocalypse. Are you?
No, that's
I'm
way
not-
too much like stress for me.
I don't
like to
I
be
don't
a-
want to subsist on wheat, just like get it in your mouth and like chew it up because that's what you have stored in your basement and live in a bunker.
I'd prefer to be a casualty and be like, I lived a life, it happened, and I am not rebuilding after this nonsense.
Plus, don't you think we'd be awesome zombies?
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I would like to participate as a zombie, please.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that we're on the same page because I'm just like, when my food storage of Lucky Charms is out, I'm out too. Like,
Yeah.
we're done.
Anita, think about it. Look at how much effort it takes us with what we've gone through
Mm-hmm.
to try and survive, keep surviving. Can you imagine zombie apocalypse on top of that? The energy, just the energy.
But on the flip side, now I'm thinking about this, we might be in the best position to survive because we're like, we already know how to deal with really terrible situations. So,
Does that
I
mean
don't
we
know.
can start a cult?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure. Okay. Well, now I'm questioning, but I don't know.
I still volunteer to not be a volunteer for a survivor of the zombie apocalypse. Too much for me. I'm done.
Okay. Shall we talk about the good, the bad, and the funny now?
I guess so. Yeah. So we thought this would be a fun episode because it's been a summer for a lot of us. And now Anita's kids are back in school. And so we just thought we would kind of look back at our summer time frame and see, like, discuss some things that have happened. And maybe there'll be some funny things along the way. I know I have a lot of funny things.
Do you? Good.
Yeah.
Good. Because I was trying to think and I can't, I don't remember anything ever that happened. So, but I thought for you, Mel.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to start with the good?
Yeah. Let's start with the good. Would you like
Okay.
to go first, Anita?
Sure.
What's a good situation or story that you have from this summer?
Yeah. So I have a couple good situations that happened. One, we had a successful family vacation. And it was like not traumatic and it didn't make me sad all the time. And I didn't lose any children. We went to California. We went to Disneyland. We went to Legoland. We went to an Angels game. I always love the feeling that I get when I know I'm adding to the good memories that my kids have or that we have together. Like, that's really important for me. I think a lot of people feel that way too. When you've lost somebody, it's like the memories are all you have.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to create more of those. So that was one really good thing that happened during the summer.
Good job.
Do you want to
Anita.
tell me yours now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there has been a foundation in Utah that would bring in jazz artists that usually we don't get a lot of jazz music here on the professional level because Utah is considered what is called a flyover state. So for people that are like tours, artists, we often get overlooked because of where it is in the United States. Yes, Anita, raise your hand.
This is so confusing to me because our one and only sports team is called the Jazz.
I
So
know.
why do we have a dearth of jazz?
Okay, well, I believe that
Keep going.
when the Jazz was in New Orleans, like the basketball
It
team,
made sense, and now it no longer makes sense,
yes. And then
basically.
they came
Okay.
here and they like, well, actually, Utah used to have a really good jazz scene, and Duke
Oh, that's
Ellington
right.
even
You
referred
told
to
us
it in
that.
his book. And then got squashed. Yeah, thanks a
Okay.
lot. I have a whole lot to say on that, but not today. So, anyway, there's a foundation that would bring in artists, and we would get like super top level artists once a month. It was great. And they would offer tickets to students at a discounted rate. And that unfortunately ended this year because the people running it are like, we're tired and we're 90 years old. Bye.
Oh.
So they ended it. So I told my student's dad, one just offhand, I was like, oh, by the way, we're not going to have any more jazz concerts because they just discontinued.
No more jazz.
No more jazz. They discontinued the foundation. And he's like, what? So guess what my student's dad did? Started a new one. So I started it with him, and I am now a co-creative director of a nonprofit called the Jazz Mentors Foundation. And our first concert is, we put it together pretty quickly. Our first concert is October 2nd. And what we're doing that is going to be really helpful for the kids, I'm excited, is bring in the artists, but then each concert and each artist will have a clinic beforehand that the students can play with the pros and have that mentorship element.
Who's the artist that's coming? Did you tell me that?
His name is Chad LB. He's a sax player, like probably non-jazz people would not know who he is. But we're reaching out to a lot of the schools in the area so that we can get them free tickets. Like all the students and the band teachers will have free tickets. And then we're going to go into communities that are underserved and make sure that they know about it. And my goal is just every kid needs to have mentorship so that they feel like they can do it. And really all people need is confidence. So I kind of do that on my own with my students anyway. I'll hire local pros to come in and play with my piano students, so that they first of all get to know the people and that have come before them, and so that those people can then kind of give back. So that's cool.
Yay!
Yeah.
I am happy about that for you. Can I tell you another good thing from the summer? Is that allowed?
Sure, why not? We need more good things.
This summer, I have been training really hard, and I've been able to do a bunch of bike races with my little brother. And it has been really fun to have something to focus on. And also it's been fun to have somebody to kind of do it together with. And I've felt really good about that. And I've had so much fun. And it's like, it feels really good to do something that's really hard, that really stretches you. So I've gone to Colorado and done some races in southern Utah and in regular Utah, and been able to coach my son's mountain bike team this summer. And so that's been another really fun and good thing that's made me feel like good about myself and given me a self-esteem boost. Because again, when you lose your person, it's hard to not feel like you've got a cheerleader. So you kind of have to like make your own cheerleading for yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes we assume that unless we had a huge life insurance payout, we don't really need to know anything about investments or even finances. But guess what? A little knowledge of finances is critical for all of us. Maybe your partner was in charge of that stuff, and now you find yourself making all the decisions. Maybe you're mad about that. Maybe I am. Nicole from the He's Gone But the Money's Not podcast is here to help. She tackles financial literacy by telling the stories of women and widows and finance experts, and shares the lessons they've learned as certified financial planners. Whether you know a lot and feel confident in your financial decisions or feel unsure about all of that stuff, there is more to learn. Listen and subscribe to the He's Gone But the Money's Not podcast on all podcast platforms. This ad was paid for by Rockhouse Financial, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Oh, that's really great.
Yay!
What do you have a particularly favorite race that you did this year?
So I did one called El Doce. That was at Powder Mountain, which is in northern Utah. It's a ski resort. And that was the hardest race I've ever done. And when I got done, I was just like, hell yeah, like I did it. I rode my bike for 12 hours straight.
Jeez.
Yeah. And it was crazy. And I was like, I am amazing. That's how I was really tired. And I was like, I'm amazing when I got done.
You
So
you
that
know what
was
I can do for 12 hours straight?
sleep.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. With medical aid.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, the older I get, I can't like stay asleep when I want to, when I'm like, oh, it's a day I can sleep in. No go. No go. That's annoying.
Congrats, Anita. That's really amazing.
Do you have another good thing that's happened this summer? I mean, you just
Yeah,
went to England, and
I
Norway.
did, yes. And like I mentioned, I originally booked it as a panic booking to stay
I
safe.
love this terminology, panic booking.
Thanks, I made it up.
Good.
And I ended up planning some skate get togethers with my Norwegian friends in Oslo that I met last time I was there on my, what was it? My experiment on let's see if Mel gets murdered by solo traveling to Oslo. No, I did
And you
not. I
didn't.
made friends and it's great. Oslo, best transportation, by the way. Oslo and Stockholm. Thank you. Thank you, Scandinavia, for having your shit together.
Oh, for other
Now,
things too.
let's talk about England for a second.
Okay.
I do love England. However, there are train sort of strike things happening.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
really difficult. So, sorry to everybody in England right now for those experiencing that. I hope you guys get things sorted out for everybody's best interest. But
Yeah.
I did have fun skating and just being away. And my phone didn't work over there on purpose because I turned it off. And like,
Yeah.
I needed that because there's been a lot of chaos going on over here in the homeland for me. And I enjoy so much British pickles. So that's my next good thing. British
Um,
pickles.
can I just say something to you, Mel?
Mhm.
So I've known you for however long I've known you, but in the time I've known you, you started skateboarding and you started roller skating, and your progress has been insane.
Thank you.
You're doing all these great maneuvers that I'm sure have names, but it's like
Thank
slide
you.
down the thingy and then come back up the thingy and flippity dippity roo.
Turn the thingy. You know what's crazy? It's like you don't realize how hard even just turning is and staying on a board or
hmm
not falling backwards on roller skates until
hmm
you're on them. And
hmm
so it's like, oh, why don't you just like go do some flips? Like, do you realize what that involves? That's going to take
Hard.
a long time. Thank you also for saying that because did you know I have not even been skateboarding for 1 year yet?
Oh, it's been that short of a time. No,
Yeah.
I can't keep track of you. I don't
My
even know.
1 year anniversary of skating is September.
Ah,
This is
interesting.
August.
Well,
But
good work. You're almost to the Olympics.
thank you. And can I please talk about pickles again? Because there's this thing that England
Yes.
has that's very important.
Okay,
It's
I
just
agree.
called pickle, and it's sandwich pickle. You can get sandwiches with cheese and this pickle spread, and the spread is made of like random things. So one that I had was made of like this sounds disgusting, but it's like pickled apples and little fruit bits. But then you put it on a sandwich and it's tangy and it good. It
Hmm.
sounded gross,
I know I'm
but I
trying
love
to
it.
like think about what that could mean in my head. I'm open to trying all most foods, so
I
I
think
would
you would like it a lot.
probably.
Also, England, you have so many salt and vinegar chips options. You have
Mm,
my heart. I am definitely a descendant of your country, which has been proven by a DNA test.
by your genealogy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Should we go to the bad?
Oh boy, yeah, I think you should
Oh
go
boy.
first.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So the bad. I posted about this the other day. This is the antithesis of bad, actually, is that when my kids started school, I had to fill out their emergency contact forms, which in the past has been really hard to do because it's like, there's no dad here. But I filled those out and it wasn't even a problem this year. And so when I was thinking back about like what's been bad in the summer, I was like, there are so fewer things than there have been in the past. And I want to like just recognize that because that's a change, right? Like I was terrified of the summer when it first happened after Jason died. And this year, I feel like we got through it and it wasn't as horrible as it has been in the past. So that's good. And I want to share that also because I know some people, when you're really in the new part of grief, you think it's going to always be like that. And it doesn't mean that it's like easy. Like it's still really hard to be a single solo parent, but it's better than it used to be. So, um, the thing that I have been struggling with kind of is when Jason died, I said to myself, I couldn't look forward very much because it was too overwhelming and too painful. And so I said to myself, you don't need to figure anything out. Just make it until the youngest is in school all day. And then you can figure out what's next. Well, guess what? I'm at that point. So I am like, what now? What am I supposed to do? Job wise, like I feel like we've been kind of living in this limbo state that I kind of made up for myself just to be able to get through that time period. And now I feel like I have to be a big girl, and like grow up out of that limbo state and figure out what the next part of my life is, you
Mm.
know? And that's been really confronting to me. And I've hated thinking about it. So then I just like, don't think about it. But it's
Ride your
something that
bike for 12 hours.
yes, maybe I'm avoiding. Shut
At
up,
least you're
Mel.
getting really great, strong quads.
Maybe. Yeah. So I'm kind of in this weird headspace of trying to figure out what life looks like from this point forward. And that's going to be I don't know if it's bad, but it's really hard.
Yeah, hard thing. We
Yeah.
can we can put that in there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you've made the cut. Congrats.
I don't think any of your stuff is going to qualify, Mel. I think yours is just too easy.
My stuff's so easy. Well, hey, I have a job recommendation for you.
Oh, what's that?
A full-time clown.
I can juggle, right?
Yep, that's why. You know
Also, I
what?
don't think clowns make a lot of money. So,
Well, you could change that.
okay.
Make it
I'll take
happen.
I'll take
Create
it
it
into
for yourself.
consideration. It's so funny you said that because I've been like scheming. I'm like, oh, I could do this to make money or I could do this to make money. And I'm like, Anita, you have an actual like really useful degree.
Like a doctorate.
Yeah, you could just go get a different job.
You could be a physical therapist full time.
Weird.
Whatever.
I'm
Meanwhile,
like,
here
I could sell plasma. I could, be a substitute teacher. I could be a clown.
you could be a sex worker,
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that one.
but you could.
I could.
If you,
You know what I could not be is a pole dancer because I am just not graceful.
I would fall down that pole. I have sweaty hands. It's not going to work out for anyone.
Sweaty.
Yeah.
My sweaty hands preclude me from. Okay.
I think you would actually be a good candidate for pole dancer because you have to have amazing core strength to do that, and you would slay.
I would not be good at it. It would be not good. I just can't. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, Mel.
Well, I have a master's and a bachelor's in jazz, which is way more useful than being a physical therapist. So
Yeah,
maybe I can
mine is
help you
actually
find a
useful.
job. Jazz. What's your degree in? Jazz.
Jazz.
Like what? Okay.
All
So,
right, Mel.
oh guys, how do I even start? It's like if you talk about this, there's always somebody that's going to say, "Hey, guess what Mel's talking about?" And it will get back to people in my family. And then guess what I get? Heat from it. So, to those of you who have done that, please go away.
Boo hiss.
Go away. So there's that. I mean, we've hinted and been pretty upfront on the podcast a little bit about what's going on in my life. As some of you know, I experienced an assault from a family member, and that's really difficult. And not only is it difficult because family stuff is tricky, but difficult because I've been experiencing a lot of the same things that I had after Scott died and then some, because there are elements of I don't know, malintent towards me. how would you say that? What do you
Malintent.
malintent? Yeah, it's pretty terrifying to be in the position that I was in when that happened, and then to watch the fallout because there's legal stuff pending. Terrifying. Um, I have great friends, and it's hard. It's just hard. I'm grateful that I have some people that are safe for me, and it's unfortunate that not all people in my life are safe for me. And that sounds cryptic, but it has to be that way because of said people who may go spread more things about me and cause more drama, which I don't need right now.
Yeah.
So, um, that's just bad. And it's been the entire summer. Like the event happened right before we went over to our friend's wedding,
Yeah.
early May, first week of May, and here we are in almost the end of August. It's a lot. This is a long haul. It's not pretty. It's not good, and I'm trying to do things day by day. And would like to point out, thanks widowhood, I guess, for helping me to already have the pathways carved in my brain that I know that the exhaustion doesn't last forever, that I know that I'll have times where I might need to rest and recover and times where I'm going to have energy. And one thing I've really been doing a lot consciously is listening to my body. I think that's probably the number one thing that surprised me about widowhood that's been really beneficial is you have to listen to your body. And your body often knows things before your mind does. And so I'm just trying to take that information that I've learned from talking to all of our guests, the experts, stuff I've read, my own experience, so that I can take this bad thing that happened and hopefully not get a stress induced illness out of it at least and stay alive and grateful for my true crime experience watching so that helps me know how to stay safe and
And
signs
how
to
the
look out
legal
for.
system works.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about the legal system. So the stress goes on. I would say it's hard for me to be out in public a lot in certain situations because of the trauma and the way that the assault was. It's
Yeah.
hard to like feel safe.
Plus, do you feel like it's also hard because in any situation like this, there's kind of a division that happens naturally. It's like who's on their side and who's on my side. And it's like you're always trying to figure out whose side people are on. And
Mm-hmm.
also, like you alluded to before, it's like a family matter.
Mm-hmm.
And in our society, we're supposed to keep those quiet.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to air our dirty laundry. And so you feel like I can't talk about it, but it's my experience and
Yeah.
it's really hard for me. How am I not supposed to be honest about what's happening to me because I'm supposed to keep it quiet because it's like shameful, and it's hard because it's something that happened within the family, so you don't want to just like burn everything down,
Right.
because you
Yeah.
still love the people even though you're like they need help and consequences. And
It's hard. And actually, the exact wording that you used was said to me about dirty laundry
yeah.
situations. And here is what I have to say to that. I respect that everybody can have their own opinion on that. And I also respect my position as I don't like to say, "Ugh, now I know why people say I don't want to be called a victim because when you are a victim of domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
you are in legal paperwork, you are termed victim. I hate it so much because also what is tied in with that word victim is people making themselves a victim and people like trying to get poor me support, and victimizing themselves. It's like if you are assaulted, you are the victim of a crime. So I see now why people say I'm a survivor versus victim, but all your paperwork says victim on it. So here's what I have to say to the legal definition of victim um, kind of conversation. For somebody who has experienced something at the hand of somebody else, that thing happened. And there's a long history, I think, just in society, in familial relationship, in the entertainment world, don't ask, don't tell stuff, where if something happens to you, it's up to you, the victim, to be quiet. And that is how victimization continues to happen. And I'm not going to do that. So when the comment was made to me about airing dirty laundry, I said, well, like, my feeling on that is this is also my story. And this happened. You can't deny that this happened. This stuff is public record. And for anybody who is also in any sort of relationship, and that doesn't mean romantic relationship, that means familial relationship, friendship, anything. If you have been assaulted, you feel like all you want to do is curl up and go in a cave. And like you mentioned, like this does create a divide between people. And I noticed that a tendency is I withdraw. I don't, because who can I trust? You don't know who you can trust. And so in a way you quote victimize yourself because you're like, well, I don't want to damage myself further and I don't want to cause more waves, but the burden is on me for somebody else's actions. And I don't think that that's right. So anybody that's been a legal victim of something like that, I see you, I'm there with you. And it's hard to speak up about those things. And some things just, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. There's no good answer.
Yeah.
And there's no good answer in this situation as well. It's pretty sticky and terrible. And I am not going to be responsible for somebody else's bad choices.
Yeah, totally. I am hopeful, although maybe this is a misplaced hope, that once like the legal stuff is over, there will at least be some finality to that, and it won't be that you're still waiting for that. And then it's like, okay, we can, like, that part is done. Hopefully we can keep going and not have to have that like hanging over like a big black rain cloud. So
yeah, and I really
yay!
hope, I know, I really hope that there's healing for all who are involved. I mean, it's not like you want to be in a situation where it's like, let's just like place blame and paint people as bad people or good people. It's like the reason that things get to points like this is because there are struggles and there's hard stuff and there's suffering. And when people decide they do want to take sides, I think it's easy to be like, well, that person only wants to see punishment or only wants to like avoid punishment. It's like, I would love people to heal and to like really look at things that might be causing harm and to like heal from that. And that's hard to get to a place to that, because when somebody has harmed you, you want justice. And what is justice?
Vengeance.
Yeah, it's hard, it's tricky. So yeah, if hopefully like that was okay to say. I mean, I feel like it's my experience. I've protected the names of whoever has done it.
The thing is, like, most of the people who listen to this don't know your family.
I know.
You know, so
it's just like, you know what? It's my story. It happened to me. I'm not gonna let that pass by. It's not okay. It is absolutely not okay for somebody to harm somebody else. So
I know, as a mom, one of the things I say all the time is it's okay to be angry. It's not okay to hurt people or damage property.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And there have to be consequences if you do. And it's hard to be a mom and to give consequences too. And sometimes maybe just let them get arrested. I don't know. I hope we never get to that point.
Yes. Good luck, Anita. Good luck. Yeah. My mental health has definitely struggled a lot. And again, I'm quote grateful for the widowhood experience that helps me realize this is how brains react. Here are some tools. And sometimes the tools don't work on some days, and sometimes a different one works on the next day. So any of you struggling, which is everybody listening to this, it can get better and brighter. I think I like the word brighter than better. I've seen a billboard with that on it. And every time I see it, I like that because I like the visual of that.
Yeah.
Things can be super sucky, and there's always a way to figure stuff out. And some of it might be in the timing. And until then, make sure that you are taking care of your body, that you're eating, and that you're physically safe. Like that's number one most important. So new widows, people going through some PTSD triggers, like keep yourself safe so you feel safe.
I love how you said it's in the timing of that, not necessarily just time, right? Like it's not necessarily just, oh, after 6 months, you're going to feel brighter or better about this. There's just going to be a time when it's right that things are are there to work out to make things a little bit better, not necessarily just the passage of time.
Yeah. And it's interesting you mentioned that too, because I'm going on, how many years has it been in? Do you remember? Let's see.
Seven,
Seven,
six,
17. Scott died in 2017. 17, 18.
six,
It's going to be
six.
6 years coming up
Yeah.
that Scott has died. So we've been really pretty transparent, both you and I, with our experiences. And part of that is so that people can kind of watch the process, I guess. And we've had kind of different trajectories, which we've talked about before as well. But I feel like I've had one knock after another that's just been like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? And I'd like to add this next part to the good category because I
Okay.
finally had a good month where I thought that I was actually not just treading the water, but I was like fully
Like
out
a
on the beach.
dolphin, you were like,
Yeah, 1 month. And I can't even tell you how I felt like finally, after 5 years or whatever, it's taken me this long to get to this place emotionally and mentally and like with the situation stuff. And then boom, 1st of May. It was a hard place to fall from. So for those who have like a long struggle, you can watch me. We can like
you can watch me
commiserate.
struggle.
And yeah, I mean, but we're still going,
Mm-hmm.
we're still showing up and we're still trying to do life. And sometimes you just don't do as much life as you think you
Yeah.
could have. But you guys, we got this, even though it sucks. And I actually want to go to bed a lot. Okay. So that was
Okay.
really long. And,
It's
but
good.
do you have
Should
any more bad or do you want to go to funny?
uh the other bad stuff, I mean, it seems kind of like silly to talk about now, but I feel like I have gotten less and less, what's the right word? Not capable, but basically what I'm willing to let go has grown and grown. And every once in a while, it like smacks me in the face and I feel like I'm failing. Like my lawn is weeds. There's not even grass anymore. It's just weeds in my backyard. And I have all these projects and my neighbors are probably just like, come on, Anita. And I'm like, I can't keep up with it. Like, there's just too much. And also, I don't want to keep up with it because if I really did want to, like, I wouldn't go on a 12-hour bike ride, right? I would go and take care of the weeds. But it also sends me into this like sad spot because I think to myself, Jason would not be okay with this. He wasn't like a crazy lawn, one of those like crazy lawn people, but he definitely did take care of the lawn and like to make it look nice. And so whenever I feel like I'm disappointing him, even with something stupid like that, it's such a gut punch. And then I feel like I'm just not capable of anything. And I have to like stop and be like, look at the things you have been able to do. Like focus on the things that you're succeeding at and not the things that you're failing at, because there's still a lot of things that I'm failing at. And sadly, there's things that I feel like are getting worse in a way, that I'm failing at more as time goes on. It's probably just because the lawn has like been dying off as long as he's been dying or he's
Oh,
been dead. So it's just taken time. Um, that's another
that's the whole
like,
thing.
yeah. And it's all like in my head and mental, but when I like look at the weeds, I'm just like, I'm failing. I'm failing you, Jason. I'm sorry.
Maybe just think of it like you didn't shave your legs. What if you let your legs? What if you never
Um,
shaved your legs after Jason died? You're like, that's what I've been doing.
so I this is too much information, but in this winter, I don't shave my legs, but I have really blonde hair, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh.
I just don't look at the weeds most of the time, but that's also a problem because then the problem gets really big. It's like they say, if you ignore your teeth, they'll go away. It's like the
Well,
same
but the zombie
idea.
apocalypse is gonna happen, so like
Mm-hmm.
I would just say leave it, let it go.
Okay, good,
That's
good.
my advice. Not that you asked, you didn't.
should we should we go on to funny stuff?
Yes, we need some funny after all of that.
Okay.
Okay, go.
You no, you go.
Okay, here is my funny. I have a couple funny ones.
Yeah, good.
This one happened last Saturday. I was at a gig I was doing, and I thought it was going to get rained out. And to be honest, I was kind of excited because I haven't felt like doing anything. And I'm like, I just want them to pay me and I can leave and not do anything. But then actually, I had a great time playing.
Uh,
But before the concert started, this guy was walking around the park where we were playing in a top hat,
oh, yeah.
speaking like some version of French and English with,
So he sounded like one of the minions.
I guess, I we didn't know what he was saying. And he had on his hand a beaver puppet.
What?
And he was walking around talking to the beaver puppet and then filming the beaver puppet
Mm-hmm.
with us in the background. It was the best. It made my
So
whole life.
he's probably sane and it was just for TikTok. Like, you know, it probably is fine. And he's going to get a million views.
Well, the thing that's like even it just gave us a lot of joy. And my bandmates who are dirty old man
Yeah.
musicians made the best jokes.
Oh, it
I'll
could have
just
been
let you
any
go.
other animal.
A
But it
beaver.
was a beaver.
He had
That's
his hand
funny.
up a beaver puppet.
Beaver
The end.
puppet.
I loved it.
So I'm going to tell you what happened at the end of the summer, Mel, and you're going to be also so happy about it. But my 13-year-old, who is my hardest kid to raise at this point in time in my life, he plays the trombone.
Yes.
And I have been renting him a trombone. It's costing me $1 million a month to rent it, right? Because that's
I thought
not
it was
really,
like 20.
it's like $30, but still,
Okay.
ask me how many times he practiced the trombone during the summer.
0.
Okay, he pulled it out once to make like fart noises. That's all. Okay. And at the beginning of the summer, I was like, do I need to still rent this? Or are you going to take trombone in the fall? Yes, I love the trombone. It's the best. So during the summer, they have band camp. And band camp is just like they go to the school for 38 minutes and play their instrument and come back. So it's not really that exciting. But he goes to band camp and he comes back with papers that say tuba on them. And I'm like, you play the trombone. And he's like, yeah, I know. They put me in the tuba group. I'm going to have to talk to the teacher about it. And I'm like, okay, great. And of course, I forget about it because I like don't care. So he goes to all of band camp that week. He comes back. I said, did you talk to your teacher about that? And he goes, oh, he's out of town. And the other band teacher doesn't do the brass instruments. So she doesn't know anything. I'm like, okay. So then he does his second week of band camp. And then the first day of school comes and he calls me and he says, Mom, I need you to come pick me up from school. And I'm like, no, the school is like 3 blocks from our house and my kids just walk. I'm like, I'm not coming to pick you up. He calls me all the time to need a ride because it's too hot, too cold. He doesn't want to crease the fronts of his shoes, which if you have kids that age, this is a thing and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's so stupid.
Oh my gosh.
They walk like penguins, Mel, so they don't crease their shoes at the front. Okay. It's very funny and stupid. Anyway, I'm like, I'm not coming to pick you up. And he's like, Mom, I need you to pick me up. I'm bringing home a tuba. You guys, tubas are huge.
They are.
They are massive. So I go to the school and he has this school-owned tuba in a case. The case has 3 clasps. Only one of them is working. So the tuba's trying to fall out. And it's supposed to have 2 wheels, but it only has 1 wheel. So he's like wrestling this tuba down the sidewalk and we get it to me. And then I like pick it up and put it in the car and it's like 850 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's like, I play the tuba now, Mom. And I'm like, good Lord, help me. Please help me.
Now he can make even lower fart noises.
Yes. So that's all he's done so far. Is he pushes the little buttons and he makes the loudest like noise. And then he says, I don't know how to play the tuba.
Um, My friend is a tuba player, and a couple months
Oh,
ago we got a tape measure out and measured the inside of my car just to make sure that the case
the
would
tuba
fit.
could fit.
And he's flown with it before, and he goes, yeah, I have to buy it an extra seat. It sits by me. And it says
Which
like tuba and then my friend's last name on the receipt. But guess what, Anita? I have a resource for you.
tell me it won't matter because he's not going to practice.
Go no, this will just keep him occupied.
Okay,
Have him
great.
go to YouTube and look for tuba Q, and that's my
Okay.
friend playing, and he
Oh,
plays
okay.
like heavy metal stuff on the tuba.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
welcome.
I don't know if this is going to last. I didn't tell you why he didn't ever correct the teacher because they have his tuba stays at the school, is what he thought. And in his mind, since the tuba only stayed at school, he didn't have to
Oh
practice
my
at home.
gosh.
And he was like, this is the best. I get to play this and they don't make me practice at home because the tuba stays at the school. He didn't realize that they have a home tuba and a school tuba.
A day tuba and a night tuba.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Heaven help me.
Wow. Wow. Um oh, I know somebody that I can like send him to just to hang out and they can make tuba jokes together, and
Yeah,
luckily he
okay.
lives in your same area. I'm sorry for
It's
you.
okay. It's funny. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. It's,
Does that mean
yeah.
when he gets to high school he's going to play the sousaphone in marching band, because have you seen those?
Yes, they're rad.
He'll love that.
Um, I will be surprised if we make it that long.
Okay.
I might chuck it out the front door and it won't go very far because it's so heavy.
You should see if you could like throw stuff in it. Like an
They
apple.
they do that like in the parades. People try and throw stuff in it. They don't like that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Mel, do you have another good one?
Yeah, this is a good one, but it's actually going to end up kind of being a mishmash of all three.
Yeah.
Once upon a time last week, I was in England, in ye oldie townie of Hereford, Herefordshire, I guess, the whole area. I was at a skate park and I had really had to pee. So I'd taken a bus right there, walked, done all these things, and then I get there. The bathrooms are locked and you can't open them.
Yes.
So I thought to myself, that's okay. I've been places before and I'll just like pee in a bush. I'll do that here. So this skate park has like a playground nearby and there's
Oh no.
moms everywhere. And I'm like, how can I do this so nobody sees me? Are there security cameras on this building over here where the bathrooms are locked? Yes, but I can avoid them, maybe. Also, I had a towel with me. So I was like, well, maybe that could be my shield.
Mhm.
So I concoct my plan and I find a little area where it looks like there's an opening in the bush, no pun intended, to go and pee. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm getting myself situated, and then all of a sudden I feel like stinging
No.
on my legs, and I'm like, and on
No.
my butt. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Are there
Oh
thorns
no.
here? And I look
Ants.
around and I'm like, there's no thorns here. Oh, there's got to be one. I just can't see it because like I can't see my butt.
Yeah.
But I was preoccupied with that, so I still couldn't pee, right? And I was like, no, this sucks. And then I realized
No.
there are no thorns anywhere. I have just put my naked lower half into an entire bush full of stinging nettle.
No. No.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, do you know why this is extra funny also? For two reasons.
Okay.
One is that when you got home and told your mom this story, she was like, oh, did you know you can make a fine soup out of nettles?
I didn't even tell her. She doesn't even know.
Because
But
that's
guess
what she
what's
would
funny?
say.
Guess what's so funny? My friend that I was with was like, oh, I know what cures that. Dockweed. Let's look for some. I'm like, what? Is this my mom? And so I had
Did
some
it
on my
work?
arm. Well, I still had to pee. So I was
Yeah.
like, this sucks. I'm like, give me a bottle. I have a towel. I'm gonna go sit on this bench and
Oh my
just
God.
like whatever. Guys, I'm so good at peeing in a bottle. And I'm a girl. And I didn't even have a
What?
shiwi. There you go. Peed in a bottle. And then I was like, this sucks. I just want to skate. I'm so mad. My friend's like, put this dockweed on your arm and wherever it hurts, and it should help it. Because he's like, I used to fall in stinging nettle all the time.
As
This is
one
what I
does.
did. I'm like, okay, great. So then the day goes on and my arm is healing, but I guess there's something about the dockweed evaporating in, I don't know, into the air, and then it helps it feel better. Well, because there were some on my butt and my backside and my leg, I didn't get the dockweed to that area. So the whole day, like I kept skating and it was like stinging. My butt was stinging. So then here's what happens at the skate park. Now this is the part where it's gonna kind of take a turn.
I thought that that was a good enough turn that you,
I
okay.
did too, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny, and it also hurts really bad. Then when I was at the skate park, there was so much chaos because there were like lots of kids, lots of flying boards, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stimulation. And I was also supposed to be leaving the next day to go home, and which of course is going to bring me back into the situation where I was, had my amazing adventure of being assaulted earlier. And like I said before, sometimes it's scary to be out in public. Some of the kids got too close to me and one came behind me, which is similar to what my attack was like. And I had a panic attack in the freaking skate park and I had to like walk off and calm down and go sob my face off and like lay on the grass. It was so embarrassing. So then I was well enough ish to leave, kind of. I was still crying, but I was like, okay, I just got to get out of here. So I like walked to the bus, crying, crying, crying. Sat on the bus, crying, 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 like full panic attack. Like had to go take a Klonopin when I got back, and the Klonopin knocked me out. So I had a nice little nap, and I woke up and my butt still hurt. But guess what? Here's the thing that's so funny, and this reminds me of those stories where it's like the Buddhism story where, oh, that's really sad that you got that your son got his leg cut off.
Oh,
And it's like, oh yeah, that's sad. But is it really sad because it meant he didn't have to go to war? You know what I mean? Those kind
yeah.
of those because I had my butt stinging so badly for so long, it gave me something to focus on to help get me out of the panic attack later. So in the end, was I glad that I got stung by stinging nettle? No, but
No.
it's a really funny story. But it also helped me to focus on that because I'm like, I will focus on that pain. It's going to get me out of the panic attack. It totally worked. And now I know what dockweed is.
Yesterday, Mel, we went on a little walk as a family, and I needed to go to the bathroom, and I found a bathroom, and I thought to myself yesterday, I thought it's one of the best feelings in the world when you find like a nice, open public restroom to use when you really need it.
Yeah.
And you didn't get that, but I did.
Mm-mm. I can proudly say that I have peed outside in Costa Rica, all over Utah, in England, probably some other places, and I have better aim than dudes
Yeah,
do in a bottle. Like
that
my
sounds
dude friends
pretty
were like,
amazing.
"How did you like not
I'm not
miss?"
even sure how
I
you
know.
do that. So you're gonna have to give me a lesson
Because
later.
I've been traveling on the road with dude musicians forever, and like they don't care if you have to pee. You just got to do it in the van.
Okay, Mel. The next story I'm going to tell you didn't happen to me, but it's like the funniest story that happened over the summer. And so I'm going to share it. Is
Okay.
that okay?
Yeah.
This happened to my sister who lives in a smallish town and works at a regional airport. So at this regional airport, she does everything. She's the gate agent. She puts the bags on the airplane. She walks the airplane out, with the little flashlighty things. She de-ices the airplanes. She does everything. The only thing she doesn't do is she's not the TSA there. So she they get done with a flight. The airplane has just landed, and the pilot comes out of the cockpit really soon. And she's like, "Oh no, what's the matter?" And the pilot is like, "I need you to take a picture for me." And she's like, "Okay." And these four very fancy looking gentlemen come off of the plane, and they have all of this swag from the airline. They've got soaps and hand sanitizers and cookies because they've just showered them with gifts because they're celebrities. Okay.
Okay.
So my sister takes a picture of the pilot and these four, I think there were four gentlemen, in rock and roll clothes. Okay, that's the only way I can describe it. And she takes it and they leave. And then they get everybody off of the plane. And she says to the pilot, like, what's the deal with that? And he's like, that was Led Zeppelin. That is,
What?
just keep listening, Mel. That is the greatest guitarist of our generation.
Oh no.
Okay. So she's like, wow, that is so cool. Apparently there was a festival going on at a casino by her.
Oh
So
gosh.
then they're taking off all of the luggage, and there were all these guitars on the actual airplane. So they're looking at the guitars to see if they can find the name of the like best guitarist ever. And one of the guys is like, what is with all these guitars? And my sister's like, oh, it's because Led Zeppelin's on the plane. And he's like, no, they're not. And she's like, yeah, they are. The pilot told me. He was like so starstruck. He gave them all this stuff and like took pictures with them. So he Googles it. The guy does. And he finds out that it's a band called Led Zeppelin.
What?
And it's a cover band. Okay. But those dudes like pretended that they were the real guys, because that's like what they do, right? They like are pretending to him. Okay. So she is like heartbroken for the pilot because she's like, he was so excited. Like his whole life was made by meeting Led Zeppelin, but it's not Led Zeppelin. It was Led Zeppelin. So because of how their airport runs, the same pilot will come back for the next flight. So the same pilot comes back and sees her, and he's like, I have the worst news. And she's like, I know, I heard. And he's like, no, you don't know. And she's like, I think I do. And he goes, those people were a cover band named Led Zeppelin. And she's like, yeah, I know. And he goes, but do you know who was on the plane? Metallica.
What? Wait,
And they walked off for real, for real.
Oh.
And they walked off of the plane past the pilot taking the picture with the fake cover band.
Oh my gosh.
And the pilot had gotten tipped off. Somebody said there is like a famous musician on your plane, or musicians on your plane. And he just assumed it was the guys who looked all fancy, not the guys that just looked like regular old folks who were actually Metallica.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. That is the best story. And like Metallica has had a resurgence, like now because of Stranger Things, right? So everyone is like aware of them, even the little kitties.
They apparently were like emceeing the event, and I don't think it was all of them, but and then the cover band was playing at the festival, because I mean it's like this little itty bitty.
Zeppelin? How the heck do you spell that?
I don't know.
Let's look. I gotta look.
But she's got all these pictures. Like she took pictures with them too, because she's like, I don't know, these guys are so amazing. And the pilot has a photo, and he missed his opportunity to actually get actual rock stars.
Oh my gosh. Also, like Led Zeppelin like disbanded in the 80s because John Bonham died. So
yeah, I was like, I didn't even think they were alive still, but apparently some of them are. But
three of them are. Yeah.
That's
wow.
That's my funniest story from the summer. That's not mine, but
that is a good place to end. We needed that. That was amazing. Well, guys, we hope that you enjoyed this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Funny.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah.
Strength to all who are moms, parenting, and school is starting or has started. Strength
and not moms.
Strength to the kidless who are just here in life, being existing and dealing with the things that we deal with. Strength to the empty nesters who have lived a life.
Yeah.
They've been through a lot. So, and widowers, of course, like we just want to make the whole word the same.
Yeah.
So if we say widows, can you just make sure that you know that we're talking about you? Thanks, guys. Okay, cool.
Thanks. Come join us in the Widow Wives Club if you want to have more interactions. We love all the people in there. You guys are so amazing. It's our private Facebook group. Just make sure you answer all the questions, please. If you want to keep the podcast going, join our Patreon. It's patreon.com/WWDN. It's just a way to keep the podcast running.
Yep. And if you join that at the $10 level and up, you get a shout out in select episodes. So go ahead and do it. It's pretty cool. If you don't want to do that, please buy us tacos. buymeacoffee.com/widow we do now.
Go get our app and also give us a nice rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And until we get to talk to you again, I'm Anita.
I'm Mel.
We're two young widows who've had the good, the bad, and the funny of the summer. And we're just trying to figure out widow
We
do
now. Let's up
Yay.
again.
Isn't that so funny?
This is my favorite thing to discuss with you.
Tell me, what is it?
One of my favorite things. I do enjoy tacos and cheese and dogs. This is about how you cannot pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a phone plan, especially when you're a widow, your person is dead, you might have kids, you might need another option, and you just want your phone to work, you want unlimited texting and service, and you want it to be like $25 a month.
It blows my mind that they have plans that start at $15 a month. That is so cheap. And the cool thing is it uses other 5G networks, and so you don't have to pay extra for that, and you still get great service.
Yep, Anita and I have traveled all over, and I have used my phone. So I highly recommend it. And my mom's even on it. When my dad died, we put his phone down to the cheapest plan, which is $15 a month. And I think my mom's on the $20 a month plan, and it's so worth it. It's so much cheaper than what we were all paying before. So I highly recommend it if you're on a budget or not. Who cares? Ryan Reynolds is in charge of the company, and they send you free stickers with Ryan Reynolds temporary tattoos. It's kind of the best. So if somebody wants to sign up, what can they do, Anita?
Go to trymintmobile.com/WWDN. Seriously, you guys, such a great idea. Save yourself some money.
And if you're worried about losing data or having any changes with your phone, not going to happen. They walk you through it. Everything's fine. It's the easiest process of all time. Again, that's
trymintmobile.com/WWDN.